cannot go there without ordering. Friends who are not foodies, they were like, yo, you gotta try this spot. One of the best restaurants that I've been to in Baltimore. And I was like, all right, that's like, you talking real heavy like that. All right, so this is part of my new series where I sit down with y'all and tell y'all an experience dining at the restaurant, because for me, it's so much more than the food. So rotisserie had been on my list for a very long time. It's one of those spots that I heard about from friends, people who were not necessarily foodies, but friends who just in conversation were like, yo, you gotta go to this new restaurant. So it's been on my list and I just never had a chance to go. I tried making reservations on different occasions and it was always a last minute thing and they ended up being booked. So I was like, whatever, now's not the time. Then when Keith Lee had came to Baltimore, he had posted about rotisserie. And I was like, okay, now I'm definitely not going to go anytime soon, because I just assumed that it would be packed. Everybody's heard about it, like all over the country. So not only are people in Baltimore going to be trying to go, but people who are visiting in and out might be like, this is probably top of their list. So the chances of me getting a reservation is just not going to happen anytime soon. All that to say, it's been on my list for a very long time. And finally, this was on a Sunday. We didn't have any groceries ready to make dinner. It was a busy night and busy night for us. So we just decided, all right, Sunday night, let's just go out, get something to eat. Where should we go? We decided to look up and check if rotisserie had any reservations, and they just so happened to have it. So I was like, okay, cool. I booked it 7:30, and that was that. I got dressed real quick, nothing fancy. I put my hair in a messy bun. I had my glasses on, like it was like giving real casual and comfortable. So when we first get in there, the neighborhood was just so like dark and quiet, like almost eerie, low key. Like it kind of had a weird vibe going in there, and I was like, I don't know what the vibe is gonna be like in the restaurant. Like I'm thinking I'm gonna walk in and it's gonna be a continuous vibe of I guess just the slow pace, not that many people there, which I didn't really mind. Like I was actually in a mood to just play low key. But when we first walk in, first of all, there's a bar when you first walk in, and it's like super packed in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, it's pretty live in here for a Sunday night. Come to find out, it was actually black owned. They do like this black owned restaurant tour in February. I didn't know what was going on and I was not keeping up with it. I was really just there by coincidence. And I was like, okay, there must be like something actually going on here tonight that we're just not a part of, which is fine. And we had our little table right across from the kitchen, which is actually my favorite spot in a restaurant. So I was very happy to be seated at the kitchen table, or not at the kitchen table, but right by the kitchen. So we're looking over the menu. Their menu is relatively small, and I love it. When I go somewhere and they have like 50 options to choose from, that almost gives me like diner vibes. Not always, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every restaurant that has an overload of options to choose from is like on the level of a diner, and don't get me wrong, there's some good diners out there, but I do like feeling like the menu is curated. Like y'all thought long and hard to decide on these few dishes that y'all serve at the restaurant. That is my preference, because then it makes me feel like everything you're serving is your specialty. Where you see those other menus, sometimes it'll be like 30, 40, 50 things on the menu, and it might be marked with a little star, asterisk, or whatever, saying like, oh, chef's favorite or chef's specialty or whatever. I want to feel like your whole menu is your specialty. Like I want to feel like I can't make a wrong choice. So anyway, I was glad to see that the menu was pretty small. So we chose, what do we start with? We started with the Caesar salad for the appetizer that had fried shallots on top. The salad was fine. I wouldn't necessarily go back for it, but if you want a salad, you have your salad. It wasn't anything bad, but also not anything to rave about. It was cool, little crunch going on. I love a shallot. I am probably biased because shallots are like, I could eat a bowl of shallots or a bowl of onions like all by itself, so I'm already biased there. But even with that, I would say the salad was just like okay for me. Next time I would probably get I forget what the other appetizers were, but I know there were at least wings on there. I would probably try the wings next time as an appetizer. Alright, so we started with the appetizer. That was cool. We also had sparkling water. And then our server, oh, that's the other thing. Our server was so sweet. The overall vibe of the restaurant, it felt like Sunday family dinner. And that might have to do with the fact that it was pretty much a packed house. A lot of black folk in there. Love to see my people. So that was cool. It kind of has that like homey feel to it, which I love. Any restaurant that feels cozy, but specifically Sunday family dinner is like another level of cozy. And this is a time where you come in to just have that food that you feel like was really cooked with love, and it's giving you all the comfort without necessarily being soul food. Like I feel like a lot of times we think comfort food, not especially, but you know, there's like black soul food, which is a very important part of our culture and is comforting in a lot of ways. But it is nice that rotisserie has like a French influence to it. So while some of the dishes that we're going to get into are definitely dishes that you could see at a soul food restaurant, it didn't taste like soul food. And that's not in a bad way. Like actually in a way that I much prefer, because I'm not always in the mood for like soul food platter type food or like Thanksgiving type food. Although it still felt like Thanksgiving. Like an elevated French inspired Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean, because that's a very unique take on some of the dishes that we might be used to. So our server felt like she could have been one of our friends. I think her name was Bree. Shout out Bree. I hope I got that right. She was really nice, really sweet. Gave us a rundown on the menu, and you could tell she really enjoyed the items on the menu. I love when you're going through the options and they tell you like what their favorites are. When you place an order, they're like, "Ooh, I love that one," or "Oh, great choice." Give me that reassurance. Like, I like to know, because y'all are the ones that's here all the time. Y'all see the dishes coming in and out. Y'all know how people react to them. Y'all probably eat this stuff relatively often because y'all work here. Maybe, maybe not. But I appreciate having that reassurance of like, you made a good choice. Even if I couldn't make a bad choice, I just like hearing it. So she gave all the reassurance. She also checked on us to see if we wanted anything else to drink. And she said they had a soursop lemonade. And I was like, because I don't really do sweet drinks that much these days. I'm a sparkling water girl. Like, that's just it. But when she said soursop lemonade, I was like, okay. I mean, why not? So she was like, do you want to taste it first? I was like, oh, sure. I'll have me a little taste. I was probably going to get it anyway. But even being offered to taste it before I added to my bill a whole glass of it. And I think maybe because she saw that we were just kind of like thinking about it, she offered for us to have a taste of it, which I thought was so sweet. Again, bonus points on service. So we got a little taste of the soursop lemonade. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was sweet, but not in an overwhelming way. I thought it actually added a nice balance to the whole meal that we had. So we had our little soursop lemonade and our sparkling water that we started with at the beginning of the dinner. So those were our beverages throughout the night. Then we got this swordfish, this like pan-seared swordfish. It came with rice and a crab okra stew. Which, when we ordered the swordfish, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like pay attention to what it came with or what it was served with. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that it came with the rice. And when I saw the okra in there, I was like, ooh, okra. And the crab, I was like, ooh, what's going on in here? Like, I didn't pay attention to the description. So that actually made it a cool experience when we got the dish and we were exploring it and tasting it. I was like, oh my God, this works together so well. Swordfish was decadent. I would highly recommend. It tasted like love, okay? Like, I don't know how else to describe it to y'all, but it had that stewy, like a savory, deep, like hearty, tomatoey based dish that worked together really well. So I love the swordfish and I would get that again. We also, of course, had to get the rotisserie chicken. I will say I almost never order chicken when I go out to eat. When I say never, I mean never. I just usually am more intrigued by other meat options or other entrees on a menu, no matter where I'm at. Chicken just usually never piques my interest, so I usually just don't get it. But we're at Rooted Rotisserie, so of course I'm gonna get the rotisserie chicken. But I think it was a rosemary oil that the chicken was prepared with that was really tasty. What I loved, what took it up a notch for me, I'm a sauce girl. I love sauce. So again, I'm biased. If you're not into sauce, then like take this for what it is. But I love the white truffle sauce. I think it was white truffle. We should have got more of that. But each of the they have like 4 different options of sauce. I think they have like a spicy one. They also have the white truffle, and I forget the others. But white truffle sauce with the chicken was great. But if I did have to choose between those 2 entrees, like say I was just going there by myself and I just needed to pick one, I probably would pick the swordfish over the rotisserie chicken. But again, I am not a heavy like chicken person. But if you're really into chicken, it's a very well prepared chicken. So take that for what it is. Yeah, okay, now we get into the favorites. I think we already talked about everything. My favorite dishes had to be the sides, specifically the sweet potato and the Brussels sprouts. We also got mac and cheese. They came with like 3 cheeses. I think there were some breadcrumbs on there. The macaroni was okay for me. It was just okay for me. And I'm not even somebody who like I have to have mac and cheese that's like Thanksgiving, like the way my grandma made it, or like, you know, a very specific type of mac and cheese. I'm flexible and I'm open to different ways that mac and cheese is prepared. It was okay for me. When I had it the next day, I snuck a little like salt and pepper on top, and that brought it together a little bit better for me. But it was fine. I think the mac and cheese was fine. If you want mac and cheese with your meal, they have mac and cheese. But what you have to get, and is not up for debate, is the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potatoes. Okay, like I think my mom makes the best sweet potatoes ever. At Rooted Rotisserie, they had sweet potato puree, so very smooth, and they put this like oat granola on top, which like I didn't know I needed that in my sweet potatoes. Like that texture was crazy, in the best way. It was very sweet, and again, as a girl who was like, I do not like sweet stuff or things that's crazy sweet, it was sweet in the way I want my sweet potatoes to be sweet. So it was really good. It blew me away. I would go back. Just those were probably the best sweet potatoes I've had, aside from my mom's. But those were the best sweet potatoes I've had, like for sure. If you go there, you have to get the sweet potato. There's no question. Yeah, it was great. And then the Brussels sprouts, they were flash fried with I think there was like a balsamic and some sort of chili flavor. Of course, I'll pop up the details, let y'all know exactly what it was. But oh my god, the Brussels sprouts, top Brussels sprouts I've ever had as well. Like, I would go there just for Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes. You cannot go there without ordering the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potatoes. Repeat after me: Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes. Like, don't go to Rooted Rotisserie without getting those things. You can mix and match whatever else, but you have to try the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potatoes. That's all I got to say, and I feel like I could just leave it at that. But that was overall, of course, a great meal. I love sitting by the kitchen. I was really tuned in. Anytime I'm sitting by a kitchen, you know, there's like sometimes drama that's going on in the kitchen, things. It was a very busy night, and you can kind of see like things going on. But I did appreciate how, despite all that, like I could visibly see like some disagreements would be going on, but nothing that's not unnatural to happen when you're working as a team. It's a busy night, you're under pressure. But even with observing that, I did appreciate how none of that carried over to the guests or the customers, and it seemed like the team was able to work out whatever they had to work out. And observing that and observing how they were handling all the guests and the customers, like none of that translated, which I think is really commendable and the only thing you can do. Service was outstanding. Everybody seemed to be very happy and to really enjoy their food, and there was laughter, and there was also a photographer there, again, because it was black owned. They were doing a black owned restaurant tour that week. So that was cool. But yeah, it was great. And I hope y'all check it out. Come down to Baltimore if you're not down here. If you're from here, get over there as soon as possible. There's really no excuse. And it'll be worth your time, worth your money, and put you in good spirits. If you need some good spirits, I feel like Buddha Rotisserie, just as soon as you walk in, it feels like some good family dinner. So let me know if you guys have been there, what you think, what your favorite dishes are, and if you guys do check it out because of this video. I love knowing that. Like, that is the reason why I do this. Putting people on to restaurants is more than just like telling you about good food, but it's like an experience, because people usually eat food, whether it be to like celebrate something, or I don't know, you're having a rough day, you need a little pick-me-up, and you go to the restaurant not only for the food, but also because of the vibe, the relationship you might have built with the folks who work there. And yeah, if I can add anything to people's lives and bring joy through food and recommendations of places that I've had good experiences at, that have had an impact on my life, that just makes me happy to know that I can pass that on and hopefully impact your life in a way while positively impacting a restaurant, a business, along the way. So thank you for checking this out. I hope you guys like this series. Let me know what y'all think. I'm hoping to take this up a notch and eventually have guests on here. Not just chefs, but even artists or my friends, just to talk over food. And like eventually I might be eating on here, like sharing a meal with people and doing like interview style, conversation style, whatever. The whole point here is just really to give you all a vibe of like what the restaurant was like, the real deal. Just like if you were on the phone talking to one of your girlfriends and she's like, let me tell you about this restaurant I just went to. That's the vibe that I want this whole video series to give. More than what I can capture in an Instagram reel, a TikTok, or a YouTube short. This is like the full story, the full picture, and you heard it here first. But no, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.